In this lesson, we're going to look at changing the subject of a formula again, but some more complicated examples. So remember, we have to understand this idea of undoing an operation. Remember, the subject that you're looking to get is going to be on the left-hand side. Everything else needs to be on the right-hand side, so you have to move things about. In order to move things about, if you're trying to move something from one side to the other side, you must undo what's happened. So say, for example, you've got a plus m, and you want to move that plus m to the other side, and you would need to take it away. You would need to undo plus, which is take away, or inverse function. If you were multiplying by m on one side, to move it to the other side, you would need to divide by m. If you were squaring, you would need to square it, and so on. If you were dividing by m, you would need to multiply by m. And these are the kind of ideas we need to understand to do this properly. Now I'm going to look at 4 very similar examples and just 3 differences between them, but we'll look at these first and see if we can understand how to rearrange formulas that look like this. So we've got a formula here. We've got a left-hand side, which is the left-hand side of the equal sign, and here's the right-hand side of the equal sign. So we want everything over on the right-hand side apart from the subject. The subject should be the only thing that's left on the left-hand side. So the first thing I notice here, like an equation, if you had 2x take away 5 equals 6, for example, you would add the 5 to the other side. That's the first process in these things. This part here, this part here. So I'm going to add the 5 to the other side because the opposite of take away 5 is add 5. So that's going to leave me with this. I then want to get down to g. I don't want 2g. And just like if 2g would equal 10, you would divide by 2 and get g equals 5, wouldn't you? So it's the same process here. We just divide it all by 2. And the easiest way to do that is to write f plus 5 and then a big divide line over 2. And that's your formula finished. You could put f over 2 plus 5 over 2, but that's neater and tidier, and I would leave it like that. Okay, the second example is very similar. It's just we don't have a number here. We've got plus v, but that's the focus. There's the subject, and I want to get rid of that bit first. So I need to take it away. I need to do the undoing of plus v, which is take away. So that's going to go down to this. Okay, after that, we're down to 1x, because that would be the subject on its own. It's been multiplied by 3. I want to do the opposite of multiply by 3, which is divide by 3. So just again, the easiest way is put a big line and divide by 3. Okay, 2 more examples. So what you'll notice in this case is slightly different to the ones at the top. The ones at the top, the subject was always on the left-hand side here. You'll see it, and that's good because we want to end up with the subject on its own on the left-hand side. And these two, the subject's on the right-hand side, so I need to move it. They're both different here, the ideas, but we'll look at this one first. Now, to get this to the other side, what I would do is I would just completely switch to the left-hand side with the right-hand side. We talked about that in the last lesson. What I mean by that is I would just write 2a plus c equals b. Notice that the left-hand side is now turned into the right-hand side, and the right-hand side is now turned into the left-hand side. And that's absolutely fine to say that. Now it's very similar to the ones in the top. So I want to take away that c, don't I? So b take away c. And then finally, to finish it off, I want to divide by 2, similar to the top. Okay, so there's only one difference there. The first thing, I just switch sides at the start to get the subject on the left-hand side. Now this one's slightly different. The fact is I take away in front of the part with the subject. That's the problem. There's also this v instead of a number, but that's an issue for me. And the easiest way to deal with these kind of ones, you always want the subject to be positive. You always want to finish with a plus a, or plus g, or a plus x. You never want negative. That's just clumsy looking in maths. You always want to finish off a formula with a positive subject. So straight away, I'm going to collect this up and add it to the other side. See all of this? The takeaway QV, I'm going to add QV to the other side. And that's going to look like that. So you can take things together. You can take all of that as a package if you like and put it to the other side by undoing the takeaway and add it. Now you could definitely have A plus QV. I've just wrote QV plus A. Okay, right, what's next? Well, I've got this plus A that I don't really want there. That's similar to this plus C here. I'm going to take it away from the other side. So to leave me with QV. I've got my I in that Q, because that's the subject. So I'm taking away the A there, just as we did before with the C. And lastly, I want Q on its own. It's been multiplied by the V. Similar to this one's been multiplied by the 2, so I want to divide by V to finish it off. And I'm done.